Good morning. Please stand for singing. We don't have to clap after that, Martha. Good morning. Today is Wednesday, January 26th, and it's an F day on your schedule, not an E day, an F day. Today for lunch is assorted pizza. Today's song lyric is, "Not trying is worse than to stumble and fall, and if we do, I'd rather it be with you." From Lions, Tigers, and Bears by Jasmine Sullivan. And now we have a senior presentation by Anna Roman.
Okay. Growth and change are words that have been stuck with me throughout all my years in high school. I've always been afraid of growth and change because that means stepping out of my comfort zone and doing things that I may find scary and uncomfortable. Although I didn't like these new experiences, I realized that I needed these few things to discover what I was capable of. And honestly, looking back at younger me, there was some serious work that needed to be done. As I am now revisiting past me, I find it very interesting how much I've changed throughout the years. As a child, I was anywhere and everywhere. If I had the slightest bit of curiosity about something, I would not hesitate to just get up and investigate. I was always the kid who was either lost something or was lost. There were a few times that could have seriously gone wrong, but thankfully didn't. My family would stay at the Chautauqua Institution for the summer just to relax and do some activities. 4-year-old me found it as an opportunity to have some new adventures. I knew my way around this little community, and one day decided to leave the house and go into a restaurant that I knew was close by. My dad had realized that I had disappeared and needed to find me before my mom came home. He found me not long after I left and saw me walking through the park with an ice cream cone. As any parent would do, he asked me where I got it, and I replied by saying, "A nice man bought it for me." Apparently, the phrase stranger danger didn't apply to me. I literally did the one thing every child is told not to do, which is do not follow a stranger who is offering you candy or ice cream. Now, luckily, nothing happened to me, except my mother found out and was not too thrilled about my experience. Of course, it didn't stop my little adventures. It was just the beginning. The worst part about me disappearing is that before my parents had divorced, my father was always the one who was on watch when I would leave. My 3 older brothers always behaved and minded their own business, while I constantly caused trouble for my dad. Especially at the end of my family Disney trip, my dad was supposed to take me and my siblings to the car and leave for the airport. But when it came time to get off the elevator, everyone got off but me. I refused to get off, and the door closed right in my dad's face. My family didn't panic at first, but because they thought the elevator would come back down, open, and I would still be there. They thought wrong. It opened, and of course I wasn't there. I somehow ended up walking down the outside fire escape and finding someone to help me. My dad ended up finding me and made me and my 3 brothers promise not to tell my mom. My mom not only would get mad at my dad, but wonder how she adopted a 4-year-old escape artist. Long story short, at the airport before we boarded our flight, the family who helped me at the hotel ended up coming up to me and my mom saying, "Aw, the little lost girl finally found her family." So much for keeping that one a secret. Sadly, I grew out of my Harry Houdini phase because in middle school, I was able to be reached by a simple phone call. That didn't stop me from making friends, though. I was still talkative, but that did hurt me in school. In middle school, I had to experience brand new things which were not that great for me. I loved my friends and sports, but to say school was not really my thing would be an understatement. I grew to be quiet in class when it came to answering questions and participating in class. I had very low confidence in myself all throughout middle school. I would often compare myself to the other kids in class who would get straight A's and voluntarily answer questions. And some of you may or may not know, I am a very competitive person when it comes to sports or games. During middle school, I found my happiest moments in gym class and or outside doing sports. I didn't focus on schoolwork because I gave myself the mindset that I wasn't good enough, so why even try? I had accommodations and allowed extra help, but I was always too afraid to ask because I didn't want my teachers to yell at me for not knowing the material. I let myself struggle because I let fear control me. I missed being 4 when I thought I was invincible. I didn't care about what other people thought. I let my mind explore and discover new things. Although it was a little dangerous, that's not the point. The point is that in middle school, I felt trapped and didn't know how to advocate for myself and ask my teachers for help. Regardless of my grades, I put on a smile and tried to make other people laugh and not focus on me. I earned the name Sunshine from a few of my teachers because I would revisit my old classrooms and ask my teachers how they were, and I would listen to what they were working on. I didn't want to focus on my schoolwork, so I tried to bury all my feelings about it. Unfortunately, the time to pick a high school arrived, and I was not very happy. A new school equals a new building, equals new students, and equals big change. My parents told me I had to choose a private school instead of following my friends to the district public school most people go to. At the time, I still haven't found my academic self. It's safe to say I was nervous and scared. After a long process of discussion with my family, we had finally decided on a school. By we, I mean my father. SEM was the biggest change out of all of my options for high school, an all-girls, private school with a graduating class of around 50 kids, and a school that didn't have the sports I've been playing my whole life. I was so nervous that during the entrance exam and our first class meeting, I acted so dull and unbothered that I accidentally pushed away the only person I knew at school, Sarah Abramowitz. Sarah and I have been going to school together since middle school, and now often make jokes about how much we dislike each other, which is not true. We just had separate friend groups, and our interactions coming into SEM made us think otherwise. Sarah and Nao are both seniors and are the co-president of the SEM Volleyball Club, along with Soya. It took me a while to be able to talk to people and get used to SEM. Freshman year, I was still unmotivated when it came to school, and unfortunately, during all my frees, I had a reserved spot in Proctor's study hall. I still never asked for homework help or asked how to properly study for a quiz or test, or give any of my effort to participate in class. I struggled and almost decided to leave SEM because I felt like running away from everything. I ended up staying and finishing freshman year. Next came sophomore year, where I still struggled, but was kindly pushed out of my comfort zone. And by kindly, I mean when Miss Droz took a pen and signed me up to audition for Macbeth. I am not a theater kid, and I am very much an athlete, or so I thought. I decided to go to the audition, and I ended up getting a part. I had never acted in anything before this, and didn't even know what to expect going into it. Whatever I expected was much less than what I experienced. I memorized Shakespeare, I performed in front of parents, siblings, teachers, and friends, and I ended up going to New York City to see Macbeth on my birthday trip with my mom. Who have I become? Because honestly, I had no idea at the time. I felt like I was changing, and I was just experiencing a new version of myself. But out of nowhere, at the end of sophomore year and during my junior year, it happened. It was all a blur thanks to the pandemic. 2020 and 2021 had been a rough time for everyone around the world. We all had to deal with change. The world had to deal with changes everywhere. We were stuck at home, cleaning our groceries, wearing masks, and being forced to be apart from our family. It seemed hopeless, but during this time, I realized everyone was going through new experiences that we all thought we would never have to deal with. I felt like people understood how I felt. Even though I had never expressed it because we were all living through the same crisis. Having gone through many obstacles in my life, I never stopped to think about what helped me in between all the negative feelings. Educationally, seeing how much I struggled academically made me realize that I wanted to spend the rest of my life in school. Scary, right? I know. I made this decision because what helped me understand the importance of school and communications were the teachers that took extra time out of their day to ask me if I needed help, the teachers that understood what my 100% was, and the teachers that understood that kids have just as much stress as adults. Those teachers showed me that they understood my feelings and validated them. I wanted to be that helping hand for kids who don't know what their power holds, don't know what their voice holds. Going through my past, I know I have grown. It's all because of the experiences I had to live through. If I told middle school me that one day she will be living through a pandemic, stepping into leadership positions, brave enough to talk about her struggles in front of the whole school, she would call me delusional. And although I may not be that 4-year-old kid taking ice cream from random strangers, and I may not be that confused student who is afraid of making mistakes and communicating, I am currently an 18-year-old senior who still acts way too competitive during sports, who is still working her way through changes, and who has just completed her biggest fear of public speaking. I hope this helped anyone who is struggling right now, and I want this to show that we all go through unexpected things. Just know it's okay to feel scared because you're not alone. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. To be real with you, if a stranger offered me candy right now, like depending on the candy, I'd go. Now for today's announcements. Final reminder that today is the last day to sign up for the Black History Month Food Fest. The form and flyer are up on the SGA website. If you need ideas, please look at the Google form where we've given suggestions. I don't see enough people signed up for deviled eggs, so there you go. Make your president happy. Next announcement, Civil Debate Club is meeting second lunch. Look out for an email with the location. And just another reminder that the deadline for driver's ed for this spring is coming up February 1st. Are there any faculty announcements?
Flute players, clarinet players, percussionists, 11:45 on stage. Tomorrow we have Glee Club altos. Thanks.
Any other faculty announcements? Student announcements? No, then we can finally get to the poll of truth. Don't mind my gloves, I have body heat regulation issues. Ooh, scrolly thing is backwards on this one. Okay. Oh wait, responses, there we go. Okay, there we go. This is a better, nice looking graph of this. Ooh, too close. A lot of you guys chose like the mouse, which I thought was weird. Evil Corporation much, but like it's not like, you know, any of these are much better. I voted for Cartoon Network, so props to everyone who voted for that. Anyways, everyone have a great day and get to class.